The best way to predict the future is to create it. Upon the subject of education, not presuming to dictate any plan or system respecting it, I can only say that I view it as the most important subject which we as a people can be engaged in. That some achieve great success is proof to all that others can achieve it as well. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. I can see how it might be possible for a man to look down upon the earth and be an atheist, but I cannot conceive how a man could look up into the heavens and say there is no God. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. Whatever you are, be a good one. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. There are no bad pictures, that's just how your face looks sometimes. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. I have been driven many times upon my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. My own wisdom and that of all about me seemed insufficient for that day. Character is like a tree and reputation its shadow. The shadow is what we think it is and the tree is the real thing. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any one thing. I would rather be a little nobody than to be an evil somebody. My best friend is a person who will give me a book I have not read. Nations do not die from invasion, they die from internal rottenness. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. The philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. You must remember that some things legally right are not morally right. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. When you make it to the top, turn and reach down for the person behind you. Violence begins where knowledge ends. Any society that takes away from those most capable and gives to the least will perish. Teach the children so it will not be necessary to teach the adults. Kindness is the only service that will stand the storm of life and not wash out. It will wear well and will be remembered long after the prism of politeness or the complexion of courtesy has faded away. I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. If I am killed, I can die but once, but to live in constant dread of it is to die over and over again. I claim not to have controlled events, but confess plainly that events have controlled me. The demon of intemperance ever seems to have delighted in sucking the blood of genius and of generosity. I leave you, hoping that the lamp of liberty will burn in your bosoms until there shall no longer be a doubt that all men are created free and equal. Let us have faith that right makes might, and in that faith, let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it. Public sentiment is everything. With public sentiment, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. I cannot make it better known than it already is that I strongly favor colonization. Elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will just have to sit on their blisters. My father taught me to work, but not to love it. I never did like to work, and I don't deny it. I'd rather read, tell stories, crack jokes, talk, laugh, anything but work. I never encourage deceit, and falsehood, especially if you have got a bad memory, is the worst enemy a fellow can have. The fact is, truth is your truest friend, no matter what the circumstances are. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. The old general rule was that educated people did not perform manual labor. They managed to eat their bread, leaving the toil of producing it to the uneducated. This was not an insupportable evil to the working bees, so long as the class of drones remained very small. But now, especially in these free states, nearly all are educated, quite too nearly all, to leave the labor of the uneducated in any wise adequate to the support of the whole. It follows from this that henceforth educated people must labor, otherwise education itself would become a positive and intolerable evil. The great majority must labor at something productive.